So we've just had the amazing sense of taste, and linked to that is the next category I'm going to choose, which is smell. And the first thing that jumped out at me of your three choices, the one I wanted to know about straight away, was the the popcorn smell of my parrot. Over to you.
Okay, so yes, I no longer have
Oh no!
oh no, she's fine, she's
Oh,
fine. So I've had a few parrots in my life, small parrot like parakeets, not budgies, but not big macaws either, somewhere in the middle. And so this last one is Rasputin. Rasputin turned out to be a girl. They're really hard to tell until they start doing girly things like laying eggs. So she did, and then so Rasputin is a she. So she's now gone off to this parrot sanctuary or the Lincolnshire Wildlife Trust it's called. So it was a big parrot sanctuary. Now they have all sorts of amazing other creatures and experiences too. So she's there now, living it up and smoking dope and laying eggs and loving her final years. And all the sex she can eat. I mean, she's having a good time, and apparently she has had eggs, and we are going to be grandchildren, which we're really excited by. But when she was with us in London, it goes beyond the smell thing, because it's partly I never get over the weird sort of lovely joy of holding a bird in your hand anyway. Like, she was super, super tame. And like, 'cause you never pick up a bird, they're such, nervy creatures. So to actually hold a delicate little bird is sort of gorgeous. And then, she'll blow on her tummy and all those sorts of things, which she used to love. But she had this particular popcorny smell, which I think probably a lot of bird owners will know. And it's a very clean smell. Like, it's not a sort of, it's not a dirty thing. It's a clean birdie smell. And partly because I don't have her anymore, so it's a slightly kind of nostalgia thing, and I do get it when I smell popcorn. I don't know recipes. So yeah, but it does sort of also extend. Like, I've got a couple of dogs into. They sort of do smell, and that probably is a dirty thing. They probably are dirty, stinking dogs. But it does smell into those. It extends into those kind of natural smells of your pets. So like one of our two, Humbug, who's a Tibetan Terrier, she really likes like being scratched, like a full like workout scratch. So Doodle likes a sports massage, right? So dogs they do enjoy that. And if you've got the sort of,
yeah.
and now so she'll come in and she'll flip on her back like this and expect a massage, and she really writhes around like it's a bit like anyone watching. It is odd. It may have crossed the line once or twice. But Humbug, what she enjoys is a full like kind of scratch and kind of, I end up getting really close to her, and there's a particular kind of smell which on a good day is lovely. So pet smells in particular, but I thought because the parrot one is unusual. You wouldn't think a parrot would smell a popcorn, but they do. So I thought I'd go with that one.
Right.
So I'm sort of extending. I'm sure babies, like you have a baby, they have a particular kind of baby smell as well.
Yeah.
It's all of that, isn't it? It's that kind of the little thing in your life that you love and the smell that it has.
Popcorn parrots. Did not know that. Thank you for that one, for that insight
There.
And the other one you chose, which I liked, and I was trying to work out why you picked this one. So this is why I was like, I wonder if it's that, but it could be something else. There were two options in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And
it won't be either of them, I don't think. But go on.
Well, yeah, this could be interesting. So it was sawdust.
Yeah. What's that about?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts as to why it might be sawdust?
The two options were, are you a secret woodworker and you build your own kind of things, and that smell of like, oh yeah, and it's like, oh, I'm being creative and I've got sawdust going on as well. Or the other one, which is, the smell of the grease paint and the sawdust in a theatre, the old fashioned, right. Those were the two. And it's neither of those, is it?
It's neither of those. I've never smelled grease paint or sawdust in a.
Yeah, I think your theatres are probably slightly more upper class than the ones that I've been.
Probably.
So, yeah.
They're finished and the 20th century.
Yes.
No, it's a very specific thing. My grandfather, on my mother's side, used to have a small, like a company that made cases. It was called Standard Cases, and I mean, they were just like exactly sort of plain wooden cases that people would pack things in. And I used to go there quite a lot, I guess, after school and hang around with my mum there. I can't quite remember why I was there, but I was there quite a lot. And there was a really strong smell of sawdust, which I never thought about for years until of late, when I've sort of been going around like reclamation yards and things like that, finding bits for the new house and doing a bit of that. And it absolutely just did that Proustian thing of flinging me back to being a small kid. And then I spoke to the builders and the joiner and people that were working at the house about it, and they said, "Oh yeah, no, it's a real thing that you come to love in that business." So yeah, that's it. It's a specific kind of fast track back to being in that factory. And it's fun, isn't it? Because at the time, like, I wouldn't have been aware of it particularly at all, and then it can just hit you out the blue. So yeah,
do you have any of your grandfather's cases at all?
I don't know. Unfortunately, no, they weren't like nice little. I mean, they were just like giant, big, ugly plywood things. So no, nothing. It would have been odd to have kept one of those. Plus, he stopped doing it long before he died, so I'd have had to, at the age of 4, anticipated his death and thought, I'd like one of these giant packing crates as a way of remembering him by, and perhaps storing his corpse.
Yeah. Not the thing on most people's mind at 4. No. I can imagine. Yeah, this is true. And the third one that you chose, which is just, and again, kind of relates to the first one, which is why I wanted to do this straight out.
Yeah,
is the smell of a friend cooking food.
Yeah, it's not the smell. It's not the smell of the friend. Where you put the pause there. It's not the smell of the friend. It is, but it's the thing. Because I love cooking. I do love other people cooking for me. I think because it doesn't happen that often, I suppose. So I really kind of.
You need to go to more of those dinner parties you don't like.
Well, I think I'm a fool to myself. Yeah, but there is something lovely about being in a friend's house and they're cooking, and it could really be anything. I guess it's nothing. It's not even about any specific cooking smell. It's just somebody is cooking for you. It's just such a lovely thing in their home. I learned to cook by doing magic in restaurants, and I used to generally, go around the tables doing tricks and things, and then I'd hang around, and then the chef, because they'd cook for themselves normally after everyone else had eaten, would just make me something too. And often I'd hang around in the kitchen and watch them cook. And I was a student at the time, and I sort of got very good at cooking elaborate things for myself that I'd learned from these restaurants. So like, more, not quite restaurant quality, but that like lavish things, but just for me, which I was never any good at cooking, roast dinners and things that you'd sort of share. I didn't really have a clue how to do that. Yeah, somewhere in there, that kind of I really appreciate cooking. It's like people playing the piano or something. Like I sort of really I really love watching people do it, and I just love that thing of someone's at a friend's house and they're cooking. It's funny doing these and coming up with these things, because you sort of feel like they're not very, and obviously try and avoid things that might be really obvious, but at the same time, really common. But you end up with things that feel a bit, it's sort of a bit nothing, isn't it? It's not really that exciting, but actually they are. You're also aware they are all those other things that just like pop, something just sort of sparks in you, and you feel like they're worth a little shout out into the ether.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. And also for someone so antisocial, you're picking quite sociable things, which is quite weird.
Yeah, it's just because they're so rare, but they're just special because they're so.
that's
so
what
rare.
It is. Yeah, that's what it is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask people at home again the 3 that you've chosen, in no particular order. So you have not the smell of the friend, but the smell of the friend cooking food. Mm-hmm. You have the popcorn smell of a parrot, particularly Rasputin, and sawdust, your grandfather's sawdust packing cakes factory. One of those 3 is Derren's favourite choice. Which one is it? And we'll be back with the next category.